was a time I thought I grasped it, and it was a time when I made a whole lot of money, like a real lot of money, ridiculous amount of money, and I thought, oh, that's
What's
it.
a ridiculous amount of money?
Hundreds of millions.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, I'll never have to worry again.
Right.
And that wasn't the case.
What happened?
Well, I started to worry about the money I had. People always think that I've got some sort of mad drive to make shitloads of money and stuff like that.
And do you?
No, I've never have.
What does drive you?
I never thought. I try to change things. I'm always trying to change the way things happen.
So you're driven through disruption?
Not necessarily not disruption in its hard sense, but just change the way things are and not accept the accepted way to do things and try and do it a different way.
Why do you want to change things?
I don't know the answer to that. That's just what turns me on. I mean, I just like doing it. I like to invent something or create something that does it differently to the way it's always been. And I'm anti-authority, so I tend to like to do things against the accepted norm and try and do it a different way. I mean,
what does that give you?
It gives me satisfaction that I could actually do something that no one else maybe thought of, or no one dared to venture into. Like, why would you take on the banks?
Right.
Like Australian banks, like the most profitable banks in the world. Why? They're my world titles. That's to me was what I was always chasing. I'm not going to accept that. That's unacceptable.
Do you like to prove people wrong?
I like to prove myself wrong. So when I doubt myself, I like to prove to myself that I could do it.
Right.
So I like to be able to, I challenge myself all the time. And even like COVID, for example, like during this period, I mean, and I think a lot of people could resonate with this, and I use it to drive myself through hard times. But how is it that I'm not going to let this get the better of me? Why? I mean, I obviously have my ups and downs. We all do. We have our ups and downs, but there'll be day, but it won't last for me for long because I'll say, fuck that. I'm not going to let this get the better of me, no matter what. Right. And I try to live my life by example. So as an example, I try to let other people see that I'm not going to let this get the better of me and therefore maybe you're going to learn not to. You'll see that, and maybe you'll live your better life and not let something get the better of you. Fear, for example. I'm a big opponent to fear. To me, fear is the greatest thief of imagination that exists. It steals from you.
It does.
And I fucking hate it. It's always there. You can't get rid of it.
No.
I can't eliminate it. It's always lurking. It's there, but it's about recognize there and just shutting it down.
Right.
But I wasn't like that when I was younger. I mean, but I've become that as I've got older. It's taken me a long time to learn. But
was there a moment when you felt like you actually learnt it, like you grasped the concept of it and went, now I know how to manage this?
Well, it was a time I thought I grasped it, and it was a time when I made a whole lot of money, like a real lot of money, ridiculous amount of money, and I thought, that's
What's
it.
a ridiculous amount of money?
Hundreds of millions.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, I'll never have to worry again.
Right.
And that wasn't the case.
What happened?
Well, I started to worry about the money I had.
Oh. Poison chalice.
And then, material stuff. And then how do I manage this? Or shit, I had 3 or 4 houses. Well, hang on, when do I get to stay at them?
When do I get to enjoy the success I've created?
This is so stupid. Like, I've got to maintain them. And it was a bit of a, it's, which is why I'm never, I only invested in these houses because I just didn't know what to do with the money. So I bought houses, properties, I bought a place of Byron.
Of course you would.
But because I always wanted to have a place of Byron. Like, I remember when I was,
you can always rent one.
17. Correct. When I was 17, I used to drive to Byron. I used to have the boards with my mates. We had the boards on the roof, and we'd be driving about 1 million miles an hour in those days, and we have shit old cars. And I remember the boards flapping on top of the roof because the roof racks weren't very good, or the boards weren't tied down properly.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to have a place up there I could just. Don't have to take boards, put the boards there, go for surf and all sort of stuff. And the funny thing is, as soon as I did all that, I decided I don't want to really go surfing anymore because, you get down to the pass, it's too crowded.
Yep.
Too many people. I thought, fuck this.
Surely you know people that have houses up there you could leave boards with.
Yeah, well, I didn't at the time, but I do now because everybody seems to want to live in Byron these days. But it's funny, but I'm a big anti-fear person, and maybe because I'm full of fear. Maybe I grew up that way. Maybe I was made, although my parents never sort of indicated those sorts of things to me, but maybe I had fears and therefore I become anti-fear. Maybe, I don't know the reason for this, but I'm very acutely aware of fear, and I'm very acutely of the place that fear must have in relation to your life, particularly when it comes to business. Yeah. Business is a potentially scary place.
Oh, it is. I've seen more sharks in business than I've seen in the water.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I
it's
say
a feisty
to people,
environment.
And I say to people, like, the problem is, in business is that the sharks are there. But you've got to feed a shark.
Yeah.
You've got to keep feeding it. But if you stop feeding, it'll come and get you. So you've got to be very, very careful about how you do this. You've got to control the shark by feeding the shark.
Right.
Just give it enough, but don't deny it completely.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if you deny it, it'll come and get you.
Right.
Eventually.
And that's your relationship with fear. So you're aware of fear. It's not like you're anti-fear. It's actually you acknowledge that it exists.
Yeah,
and you've just put it in a place that you need it to be.
And you
use it when you need it.
So my brother and I often talk about things like we compartmentalise things in our life.
Yes.
So we put things into compartments, and I say, look, I put something that's bothering me when I get home at night, and business people can do this. I have an imaginary box.
Oh yeah.
And I put it in the box and I close the box.
Ah.
And I don't think about it anymore.
You don't write it down or anything?
No, I just put the thing in the box. I know what it is. It's in my mind. I put it in the box, an imaginary box, close the box. That's it. I'm home. It's in the box. Put the box away. And I'm not going to think about it again tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning when I get up and I've done my things, I've been to the gym, I've had my breakfast, I've read the papers. Sometimes I meditate, and I'm a breather like you're saying. Not necessarily the way you do it, but a different way. But no, I learned to breathe having done yoga for many, many years. I don't do yoga anymore, but I learned how to breathe. I just haven't had time. Well, my partner at the time, she was a yoga teacher. No, I still
haven't made the time.
And I used to go to her yoga classes, and then I stopped going to once we broke up, and I just never went back. That was about 5-6 years ago.
Right.
But I still do yogic things. I just don't go to classes. What I mean by that.
Okay.
But particularly in relation to breathing. But once I've done all that, then I open the box up again.
Oh. So you do think about it again?
Then I open the box again.
Okay.
The box is open, and what was it I was thinking about last night when I got home that I need to fix today? I'm going to fix it. But I do like yourself, I do allocate time first thing in the morning to myself.
Yeah.
Things for me.
Yeah. Things to boost you.
Reading, breathing, exercising.
Nutrition.
Totally nutrition. That's a big deal. I'm not one of these people, I got mates who don't eat from 5 o'clock in the evening till lunchtime the next day. I don't believe in that. For me, I've got to eat something, not a big deal, but just got to eat something. But also just indulge myself a little bit, just with no thoughts.
Yeah. How do you do
nothing. That? Just don't think. I don't think about anything. I just wander around. I know I've got to go get a coffee. I'm going to walk there. I'll see people. Hey, how you going? People. I go to the same place all the time. I'm very routine driven, so I'll go to the same place. I know everybody there, but I know everyone there, and I say good morning. They're not friends. They're friends, but I'm friendly, but I don't go and hang out with them. But so it's just
acquaintances,
and it's just nice. It's no thought.
Yeah.
No challenges. Nothing. And then when I walk in the office, which is usually pretty early, I open up the box, and the challenges start.
Do you have a time when there's multiple challenges that go in the box?
Yeah.
Or do you create multiple boxes, or do you?
No, one box. Everything goes in there.
Everything goes in the one imaginary box.
It gets locked. Yeah.
And that must have taken a lot of discipline to create that habit.
It has, and as you know, habits are the most important part of helping our behaviour. So and it also helps me create the story about myself. So. My story about myself, which is what we all do. We all create stories about ourselves, and we confirm the story about ourselves. But you talking about how your subconscious does it, like in a neurological way. I mean, the more you repeat things, the more your brain just becomes neurologically used to doing it.
Yep.
Conscious or subconscious, whichever way you want to deal with it.
Both.
I'm one for saying my stories. That's what I do. I mean, I just told you I put stuff in a box. That's who I am, and I don't worry about things post a certain time.
Right.
That doesn't mean Jiminy Cricket doesn't come at 2 o'clock in the morning and start scratching his hind legs over the top of my head. That happens too. But I do the breathing thing.
Right.